like a resolution for that. So in that case, that lady should raise her issue to a judgment authority, Muslim authority, as I mean, uh, because the Maliki would accept that form of judgment. So if the ulama or the scholars of that place, for example, in Turkey, or that city in Turkey, did not give her uh, her rights, or his right decision, for example, she can again seek that like justice from the closest community or Muslim association that would she would actually contact. For example, in Turkey, there is the Association of the Scholars of Sham, or the International Association of the Muslim Scholars, and so on. So these people, or these big bodies, can help that lady. Sheikh has just put in few words about this zawaj, or marriage. They call it urfi, according to the custom. So, the Muslim scholars, most of the cases they did not accept that type, except, there is no document, there is no certificate of that marriage. But the only thing they would accept out of that is like the nasab, like having a baby, or some boy or a girl. And Sheikh said, I recently heard like like a document, like a judge can actually accept that as a proof of that marriage. She can receive some financial support based on that. But we have a lesson here. A woman should not put herself in that situation. She should not actually get married away from her family, her relatives. If somebody, like a man, try to take advantage of her when she's away from her family, she should not listen to him. She should actually be careful. Do not let yourself just be alone with this kind of people or men, because they will take advantage of you. So try to be within your family, within your supporters, in order to find at any rough time or any tough time somebody that would help, somebody would support. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything, and you should listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has advised or has asked us to do. Somebody sent in a question, said, Sheikh, I would like to ask you in a question, an issue, to take like like a salary, or for to be imam of the people of the masjid. As Sheikh says, this issue has been like a tradition now in all the masajid in East and West. And without that type of like job, the masjid can get lost. So the hafiz and those who are qualified to be leading the prayers and be imams should be in the masjid, teaching people Islam, leading them in the prayer, and introducing Islam to them in a good, modest way. But if they cannot go to the market, for example, to work in a market and be kind of busy with like the life related issues instead of being like working with the deen and Quran and Sunnah and so on.
وحريصون على فعل هذا احتسابا للكفر وفي مجازاة فاعلها بالإحسان بلا شرط. يعني الهمة من الطرفين، المحافظ مستعد يحافظ مجانا والناس مستعدين يبذلوا لشيوخهم من غير أن
Like
يتذلل في السؤال.
Al-Mullah Ali Al-Qari,
يعني تراجعت الهمة عند الحفظة
he said
وارتفعت الهمة عند
it's
الطالبين
not to be done
ليسألوا
for like giving adhan or imama or the teaching Quran. But that was long time ago. Today, most of the scholars actually they made fatwa to accept that it's a sahih, it's good, healthy.
على أقدامهم من بعدهم
Uh,
هم جسد يأكلون الطعام
because those
ويحترمون
who were prevented to do that in that old days, for example,
ولا يفرق
uh, they used to do it like ihtisab and seeking the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with no conditions. But in that time, during this nowadays, uh, like it could, like they give like they said that that's kind of approved
أعطاني مبلغا
and so
هائلا
on.
فوضني أعطيه للمستحقين.
Somebody give me some money, and he give me like he asked me to give it to the people who deserve that sadaqah or that money. Somebody, a man, has taken a loan from me, a debt, and he's miskin. He's in need of that. Is it jaiz to take my the money that I this guy owes me from the money that I'm paying for the needy people?
أعطاك إياه إرادة
So this good righteous man who give you that money to give sadaqah for people who are in need or poor or miskin,
مدين لرجل مدين به.
and he didn't choose anybody. He also was seeking like a noble man like you. So a noble man give money to another noble man.
لا يزال يرغب ويروح في رياض نبلك وحسن خلقك وسعة صدرك والمأزومون من حولنا الكفر ومن هم أمس
So
حاجة وأشد
I'm expecting you to be like a good man with good ethics, good values, noble cause in your life. The people who are in need of that money are many around us. They are much more in need of that money than us or than you.
يعلم قول الله تعالى وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة وأن
So
تصدقوا خير لكم.
the one who actually has debt to you or took like a loan from you, he might be actually in need of money, and because the life is has some pressures on him. So if he needs some money, just support this guy, give him some money, and maybe the loan, maybe give him more time actually to pay you back what he got from you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make things easy for you and everybody else.
ينبغي أن يقدم إلى علماء المخالطين لهذه الأصول ولبرامجها الاستثمارية ولهيئات رقابتها الشرعية تحتها.
I have a small amount of money and I would like to do like investment in that money in an Islamic bank.
على ما في بعض المصادر الإسلامية من تخمم ولولا المصرف الإسلامي أن مصرف
As Sheikh says, or the guy is asking, or the gentleman is asking about which bank and so on. Sheikh says this question should be actually asked to the scholars in the East, because they are actually among, or they live around this kind of like banks, and they know exactly their programs and their investing plans. and also like they are more capable of giving you a good answer for that question. In general, Islamic banks, they much better than the riba banks. So they all their bylaws has to be like based on the Islamic Sharia in all the issues that they work with, and they are different. So please check with the scholars in your domestic country or land. They will give you the right answer, inshallah. We have two families in America. They are close to have like Islamic or marriage. They would like to refer to the Book of Allah in their zawaj. Is there any like document for the people here in America that we could use to implement the Shara of Allah on the people, the Muslims, mu'mins here? As Sheikh says, okay, the default of living here in this country or any other country, like in the West, for example, we always ask those who are wanna get married to go first to the court. Then they will have this. The court will issue them this certificate or the wedding certificate or the marriage certificate. When they bring that to us here at the masjid or the Islamic center, so we take that, we look at the civilian document, and based on that, we do like, like confirmation, secure in this one with like a Shari or the Shara Islamic marriage as well. But when there is a dispute between them, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring all His blessing to this couple and all couples in America, for example, when they are in dispute. So they would have this agreement before they like pre-marriage agreement about what they have agreed on. So that agreement, as Sheikh says, like there is some kind of like service here. It's called license appreciator. These people actually they look at this kind of agreements and they will try to find or judge on what is written or included in that kind of agreement or treaty. So if you would like to look at that, please go back to the lawyers that would actually help you on that. Or maybe you can check the Islamic center that is close to you. If things don't work out for you, please come back to us and we can try to do some kind of like research and investigation and give you like the better answer. Sheikh, I am a lady, a Thayyib lady. Thayyib means that she has married before, but she's divorced right now. I did not have any challenges in your life or many challenges in my life because she said I had many challenges in my life because my dad was uh, somebody who did not have a good reputation in the community. His ethics were not the good ones, and he used to commit many ma'asi and sins and even crimes. His his harm did not even hurt me only, but also hurt my children. He never. When I was very young, he actually did not. He did not spend on me. Uh, I was not raised like with him, but he left me to my dad of my mom or the father of my mother, like my grandpa to my mother. When he divorced my mother, then she's talking about her father. When I grew up, I went back to that life that was full of like harm and lies, and then he kicked me out of his of my with my kids without having any kind of like house or apartment. What is the right of the bearer or be good to that father? Should I avoid or should I cut my relationship with him? Oh, my daughter, I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you with all the patience and give you the reward that you deserve and give you the strength uh, and put you in the best health and best, like way in this life. Remember that many ayat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, mentioned in the Quran about how to be good and bar to your parents. Be lenient to him, be good to him by the ma'roof. Don't, you know, don't let that uh, harm actually make you feel like you want to take a revenge. Make sure that there is like Salah, the kinship, okay? If you have money, give him out of that to meet his needs. Don't treat him based on what he did in you or what has he done to you. Be kind to him, be dutiful to him. Even don't say to him the word off, which is like the shortest word that somebody would actually utter. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you reward of that, to give you your right. So your dad is going to be accountable of what he did, and you also going to be accountable for what you have done. If you, the second question is she if she would like to get married again, uh, again he doesn't have to be your wali, as you know. Like, yeah, your father is number one to be your wali, but if things are not working out between you and him, so the wilaya could be moved to another or transferred to another person, maybe the brother, and maybe the children, the boy. And then if there's no one out of the three first ones, the sultan could be like the wali of anybody who does not have a wali. What the first question of today: what is the hukm of tourism to countries that they are, for example, uh, not good to Muslims? And they give some examples like France or China or so. Sheikh says, well, we don't have to be careful here. Like, there is, like if you, there is nothing wrong with that, but you try to be careful. You have many countries. France, as Sheikh, is like a big church. But There are many other countries that would be actually Muslim countries, or other countries they don't actually consider Islam as to be an enemy or Muslims to be enemies.
التي أهلها من أشدهم على الرحمن عتيا.
So if you know any country that they fight Muslims, for example, they are, like
ثم لنحن أعلم
treating Muslims bad in a bad way.
أنا لا أحارب من
Again, it's not haram. I cannot make what is halal to be haram.
تجاوب
But but again, that issue needs to be well studied, needs to be like taken care of. Like be conservative when you decide to visit a country that would consider Muslims to be enemies and treat them badly.
على الجواب. ما هي الصلاة يكون فيها بس أني
I made wudu during the time of dhuhr, and I combined dhuhr and asr later on,
يعني 5 أوقات من تاريخ آخر مسح.
and I wiped on the socks. What is the last prayer that I could actually make the mash?
ما حكم
And I was not. As Sheikh says, you got like 5 prayers, you can actually do that. What is the hukm of suing the landlord of a store who is Muslim, where I have like injuries happened to me,
يتعاقد معها سنة على مسؤوليته. لم تكن في عقد التأمين.
taking into account that the insurance is gonna pay that, but I don't have like enough money to make this treatment or that hospital expenses.
مع التأكد أن الإنكار لا يجد فائدة فقط يجد
As Sheikh says, well, check with that Muslim guy first and the insurance, see what is going on here, because
الذي لا ينبغي أن
what is the hukm of denying the munkar?
بقلبك ارتياح للمناكر.
When I know, like, for example, if I deny that, it's not gonna get any benefit, but it will get like sarcasm or, making fun of me or so.
لأنه ليس وراء ذلك النتيجة. لا يستطيع أحد أن يدعي أنه استضعف سن الإنكار بالقلب. لا يمكن.
As Sheikh says, the least form of inkar is the inkar of the heart. We know the inkar of like to deny things with your hand or deny things with your mouth, and then the least we said is to deny by your heart.
وغلبت الجدوى رجل العقل فذكر إن
So at least you do that with your heart. Remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said,
رأيت
remind, indeed this reminder will help or benefit people.
وإعجاب كل
Al-mu'mineen, will benefit al-mu'mineen.
التي خاصة بنفسك ودعاك أمرك. لفهم الصدق أن هؤلاء القوم سيردون عليك.
So if you are sure that these people who are gonna make fun of you are gonna scoff at you, for example, just don't worry about them. You have that denial in your heart, and you're gonna be actually in a good shape, inshallah. And make ihtisab.
وتغلق عليك بابك وتقول عليك بخاصة نفسك لسه لم يأتي زمانك.
Ihtisab means you say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our sufficient. You believe in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, and you believe in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised us with. But in the end, at least, just deny these things by your heart, and do not join them in their majalis, their meetings, for example, to avoid hearing that kind of like sarcasm or scoff at you.
السؤال بتاع الكلمة ده جاوبناه في الحلقة ما حلول التعامل
This question about Sheikh says couch, he said he answered that question last time. Another question, what is the conditions of the deal with the like general banks in order to have like like any account, mainly like
وينبغي له أن يستعيض عن
and then using like the credit card or so,
ويعنى
and then you pay the money immediately without having any kind of riba with this issue.
على وجوب الالتزام
As Sheikh says, we always make fatwa to avoid dealing with all this, uh, like riba banks. If you are, if you can have like an account in an Islamic bank, but
فينبغي له
if you have no actual excuse if you have like this Islamic banks around you.
وإن أضيف
So you have to use halal instead of haram. You have to deal with halal instead of haram. You have to pay attention to what Islamic banks would do to you. If there is no Islamic bank, so you have to try to avoid riba in every single transaction you do. So try to have just like checking account only without any saving account. And then if you have any money you pay it as soon as you can in order to avoid any kind of riba or any kind of interest. Last question as Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Sheikh, we have a masjid. In our city, we have elections for the mayor. There is a lady who is actually candidate, and she's actually very close to the Muslim issues and Muslim problems here, like Gaza issue and all the Muslim Islamic organization here in that city. They support her, but some Muslims they feel like uh, they don't feel good or feel like good in voting because again the elections here are not Shari elections, and they deny on other Muslims of the community that would like to do that. What is the hukm? What is the mawqif Shari of that?
والمجلس الأوروبي للإفتاء والبحوث
As Sheikh says, to participate in all these political issues here with non-Muslims, uh, like you could find like a single or very few uh, scholars, for example, in this country that they are against that. But the Council of Islamic Fiqh in uh, Jeddah and the AMJA as well, the European Council of Ifta and Research, and all these big communities and societies or councils, they have articles on that, and all of them they decide what's following.
الذي يتمتع
So to be a part or to participate with in any elections with non-Muslims, it's like Shari politics or policy. You have to look at what are the benefits and what are the harms, and make this kind of like balancing or scaling. So whenever you see like the benefits are more than the harms or the bad outcomes, you can go for the elections. If you have the citizenship of that country that is not Muslim, you can participate in the parliamentary or the presidential and so on. In order to be able to give the right, like image of Muslims and Islam, and to be defending also the Muslims in in this country, and get some benefits for the minorities of Muslims in this country as well. And also you collaborate with the people of this country, those who are seek justice and support justice, in order to like get the right and the good benefits for like your dunya and deen as well, and stay away from all the people they are taking Muslims are enemies, those who are actually push the adrar or the harmful things on Muslims.
نكتفي بهذا القدر في هذه الحلقة على
And the last one is just to avoid, make sure that if you participate in that, that would not lead that you would leave your deen, or you do not, like practice your deen in the right way. This is the last point here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم اجعلنا